what's maybe one of the lower quality brand tracking hallmarks versus something that's really robust and perhaps more of the ilk that you're exposed to?
I'm going to say something that is, I don't know, may upset some people. Why are you tracking your brand? I think is the big one. I think a lot of it is to demonstrate that something actually went and happened, and then you're trying to go and show whether it had value. And a lot of it has to do with the measures that you're going to use for brand tracking. Like, one thing that you got to remember is brand tracking is trailing. You're kind of looking at what the market did, and then did it fulfill on the objective. And what it comes back to is what are your objectives, and how significant does the change need to be to show that you're fulfilling on them? And that work is frequently not being done. I've especially seen it where there's syndicated brand tracking that is sold by firms. Interesting stories, some good, most not. Let's be honest, if everybody got bad news, this stuff wouldn't be sold. So syndicated brand tracking is where a research firm or a consultancy or an agency, they go and start tracking a bunch of brands at the same time. They'll run like a mass study, and they'll throw in like 15, 20 brands, and they're just gonna go and ask people what their opinions are. But the opinions are against the same set of measures. And the context is what's your opinion on this measure? When you switch from syndicate, you switch to actually business, when we're like, hey, how's my brand doing versus these direct competitors or substitutes? You've now shifted the context of why the person is responding. Like, if I go and ask you, hey, what do you think of Nike? Do you like it? You're like, yeah, I generally like it. Like, their stuff's pretty good. And then I go to like, hey, I'm going to do a Nike brand tracking study versus Adidas and Puma and Reebok and all the other newer brands that are out there. And all of a sudden you'll be like, wait, like, do I want a shoe? Do I buy Nike shoes first? Like, your brain starts operating differently. So your response is going to be different. So this is what I've never seen a syndicate brand study recreated in an actual business purpose application. So it's usually a sales tool to have you realize, maybe I should know this information. I have stopped using traditional brand tracking. I actually dislike it, and there's way better bangs for the buck. When you're going and tracking your brand, at the highest level, what are you really looking to do? The theory is you're trying to make a better business decision with your customer in mind. And that's still a theory, because not everybody's necessarily doing that. Many people are going and making a business decision with their own self-interest in mind. On that note, let me go and answer. Like, if you want to go and do an effective way on a cheap budget, I would go and start with yourself.